Then, now, forever. Together.
Stevie, you have been absolutely phenomenal over the past couple weeks.
Thank you.
The matches you've been pitching to me, the talent you've acquired, you even got an OG Evolve champion on the show. I am very, very impressed. So with that said, I absolutely think it's time for the next step in your journey. Would you please go out there with Stevie to give her big announcement?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Wait, what announcement?
Trust me.
Make some noise, Evolve! Make some noise! Get in there, girl! We have a special announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, your new general manager of WWE Evolve! Make some noise! Yes, you! Congratulations! Stevie Turner!
Wow. Wow. It is an absolute honor to be named the new general manager of WWE Evolve. The fact that Ava put her trust in me, not Stone, might I add, makes that so much sweeter. If the last few weeks have been anything to go by, this truly is where pro wrestling evolves. And it will continue to be that way under my leadership. Everything is up for grabs. Who will take the top spots? Who will be in eventual title contendership? And who will become the first ever face of Evolve? Yeah. Well, that all comes down to who impresses me. And the fans, of course. Hey, how about we get things kicked off with two men that were going at it a few weeks ago? Yeah, and those two men are Wolfgang and Sam Holloway. Let's do that next.
Well, well, well. That is quite an announcement to kick things off on Evolve this week.
Unbelievable. I mean, we're doomed, Peter. We're doomed with Stevie in charge.
Come on, Stone. I know you two have your differences, but I think she's already doing good work. Wait. But wait a second. Luca and Keanu Carver being separated, a huge announcement of new GM. Things are off to a crazy start already on WWE Evolve on Tubi.
This April, Las Vegas has never had a show like this.
I've been focused on the future, never right now.
Welcome to WrestleMania!
What happens here becomes legendary. WrestleMania from Las Vegas.
And we are are back with our first match of the evening. Welcome to WWE Evolve on Tubi. My name is Peter Rosenberg, joined by Robert Stone. We have some big men getting after it early, right from the start.
And I want to focus on that, but did I really just hear that correctly? Is that real? Stevie Turner's the GM of Evolve? I'm sweating over here.
What a tremendous decision by Ava from NXT. She does a great job at NXT. She makes a great decision for Evolve. Obviously, not choosing Robert Stone. Immediately, she wins points in my eyes. And now, let's focus on the task at hand, Wolfgang and Sam Holloway.
Yeah, well, last week, Wolf came out to support his Gallus teammates. That distracted Sam, who was one of their opponents, and then that team lost. Wolfgang, we kind of thought it was funny.
These are, tell me if I'm wrong here, Robert Stone, these are old school wrestlers right now.
Yeah, I mean,
This is 1979. You might work a day job at a steel factory 5 days a week and wrestle on the weekend.
yeah.
Look at these
I'm
brutes.
feeling it. The people are feeling it. I mean, this is when power meets power. Only the strongest is going to stand.
Of course, Wolfgang with his share of NXT experience with Gallus, Sam Holloway on a different path. But two big men, as you can see, chopping the hell out of each other.
Yeah, they're just laying it into each other. I mean, Sam is 6'8", 265. Dude left his football scholarship to wrestle. He wants this.
Man. This is one of the many reasons I love WWE Evolve. So many different kinds of wrestlers. And hold on, Wolfgang's going up top. What do you think about this, Robert Stone?
I'm loving it.
Boom!
And that's why he's such a unique competitor. He's got speed for a big man. He's explosive. And as you can see, he could fly.
You see Joe Coffey ringside cheering on his Gallus buddy Wolfgang in this great opening match set up by our new fantastic GM, Stevie Turner.
I'm loving the match. I'm loving the match. This is a dangerous place to be right now. I don't know how much they're going to love this being on the apron. This is the hardest part of the ring, Peter.
And by the way, that's not just something people say, right, Robert?
Oh, no.
I feel it's a real
Whoa,
thing.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh my God! That is brutal.
I'm really feeling for Wolfgang right now. I do not know if he's going to be able to get back in the ring after that. That was a big man that just slammed him on the apron.
And Sam Holloway, a great athlete in his own right, former All-State football and basketball player, left his scholarship to wrestle. They call him Hardway Holloway for a reason. And Wolfgang's finding out why.
He's a brute. He's an intimidator. He's a tormentor. And you know what? He was bullied as a young man, and then he turned into a bully himself. And I can't condone that. I have kids. Bullying's not cool. However, I mean, he's talented.
And guess what? Sometimes in the ring, you have to bully your way around, and that's what Sam Holloway's doing right now. Big elbow over the top rope there to Wolfgang.
What an interesting way to get back in the ring with an elbow drop. I'm loving it.
I got to tell you, when I see the size of people like this, Robert, I understand why you're sitting here with me now and no longer in the ring.
Yeah, I served my 25 years, and here I am. I enjoy myself here. Woo.
Oh, and the pinfall, 1, 2. And Wolfgang kicks out at 2.
I mean, you hear the people behind Wolfgang. Joe Coffey is getting him going.
That's right, of course, his Gallus brother, Joe Coffey, supporting at ringside. But right now, Sam Holloway in control. Man, Sam Holloway's a bruiser.
Yeah, I mean, look what he's doing now. This is what he's doing. He's bullying him. But a bully is only as powerful as you let them be, and Wolfgang right now isn't letting him be. See? Hit the back. He's feeling that slam that he took on the apron.
And Sam Holloway putting in that work right now on Wolfgang. By the way, Robert, you not only put in 25 years, you're at a point now, true or false, you could barely walk around the building today because of sciatica.
I mean, sciatica. Yeah, it is what it is. This is the worst case I've had.
Do you realize how washed you are?
How what? You've never had sciatica?
No, I've never had sciatica. No, listen, I never put in years in the ring. You put in your 25 years. But that is sad. Let's just be honest, man.
I mean, look, I'm not proud that I was limping around, but it is what it is. I'm proud of who I am, and look, I still look great. Ooh, right back on the back.
And another pinfall, and it's 2.
I don't know how much more punishment Wolfgang could take.
Yeah, Wolfgang has been on the receiving end now for quite a while.
Sam, what are you doing? Why are you paying attention to Joe? Focus on your opponent. Wolfgang's been here before. He's been one half of the NXT UK Tag Champs, an NXT Tag Champ. He's been in the ring with the best, and he's not going to go down that easy.
Yeah, you can't go to sleep on him. That's for sure as he connects with a big elbow to the neck of Sam Holloway. And the big man with the shoulder block from up top.
He is not afraid to fly.
Big boys getting it done early. My man Big E would love a match like this. Big right hand from Wolfgang and another one. 3 in a row. Sam Holloway's now reeling a bit there, Robert.
Yeah, see, you can knock a Scottish man down, but he'll rise stronger with every blow, and right now he is rising.
Putting that work in on Sam Holloway. Into the corner he goes. Oh, what happened there?
The back one out again. He is in a lot of pain.
That is going to be tough to get through. Can Sam Holloway take advantage?
I mean, he's trying to right now. It's not a bad plan. Just grab onto him and into the turnbuckle.
Goodness gracious, the power of Sam Holloway. And you're not lying. Wolfgang is in some trouble. Holloway going for the pin. That's got to be it, 2, and another kick out. Hard to keep this Wolfgang down.
These two are shaking the ring right now with all their weight and all their movement, but you got to say, Sam needs to figure out what his plan is. He's not used to this. He's not used to being in a ring where the lights are on him and the cameras are on him. Okay, this is a big opportunity for him, and he needs to stay focused.
Into the corner, and Wolfgang still in trouble, taking one shoulder block after another. Holloway getting it done.
I'm telling you, the deeper this fight gets, Wolfgang will thrive more. He is going to find a way to come back. I know he's got it in him.
I got to tell you, Robert, I think there's an extra level of pressure for the NXT superstars who appear here on WWE Evolve. It's like there's a certain level of expectation, right, to live up to the brand, to live up to the Gallus name.
Yeah, I mean, 100%, and just to live up to how long he's been doing this, how long he's been in this industry. All right, he's in with a youngin', and he wants to show him who's boss.
Yeah. Oh, man. And don't let Sam Holloway fool you. He looks like he could be older than me. He's been in the ring for a few years, and oh my goodness! Wolfgang from up high! 2, 3!
Here's your winner, Wolfgang!
Wow, oh wow. Sam Holloway was in control for a while. Then he got busted up pretty good there. Wolfgang was able to take advantage, and he scores himself a pivotal W.
How impressive was it to go off the top like that out of nowhere with that howling swanton?
That busted nose does not look fun for Sam Holloway.
Stevie, remember that knockout Jordan Oasis? Send anyone that wants a scrap. It's Gallus Boys on top. Come on, Wolfie.
The Gallus boys are feeling it, guys. We have so much talent here on WWE Evolve, and 2 young women from our incredible women's division found each other and seemed to pick each other up just a bit. I'm talking about Aria Bennett and Layla Diggs.
What's goody, Diggy Diggs? How you feeling? I need to meet with Coach. I need extra practice because I cannot lose like that again in Evolve.
Yeah, I know. Like, I did not like the outcome of my match.
Yeah, like we've worked way too hard to let these opportunities slip through our fingers. I mean, this is the place to catapult into the spotlight.
Catapult, slingshot, springboard. I mean, come on now. But how about this? Catch this. How about I turn back around, join the training with Coach, and maybe you and I can bring our resources together, make a little music in the ring? Feel me? All right. Exactly. Come on.
Aria and Layla finding their way, and they'll find some action together later on tonight.
Yeah, and in our main event, a former OG Evolve champ takes on Super Sean Legacy.
Plus, I can't wait for this one. We have Kendall Gray and Zara Zacher, and that match is next. Welcome back to WWE Evolve, and look who has joined us in the VIP section. One of my favorites, Robert Stone, Carly Bright.
He's got the pom-poms. I don't know how happy Kendall's going to be about that.
Well, why not? They're partners. Had a big tag win a few weeks ago.
Got to be focused on the match, not someone cheering for it. It is what it is.
I know, but you see Carly Bright. She's bright. You see? Makes everything better.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first from Las Vegas, Nevada, Kendall Gray!
And as I just mentioned, one half of the first win ever on WWE Evolve, Kendall Gray. Very different in style than her partner Carly Bright, but a great talent nonetheless.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposites attract situation. But Kendall, I mean, man, she is a boss lady. She is in charge, confident, and commands respect when she enters that ring.
Started practicing jiu-jitsu and judo at age 12. Three-time undefeated national champion in wrestling. She's the real deal, man.
And her opponent, from San Diego, California, Zara Zacker!
Love Zara Zacker. The petite powerhouse. And I'm telling you, if you haven't seen her yet, she will surprise you. She packs a lot into that small frame. Zara Zacker, one of the young, exciting stars here on WWE Evolve.
Yeah, right now she's coming off her biggest win in her career over Kylie Rae. Hands down the biggest win, and now, I mean, she's kind of formed a friendship with Kylie. Kylie's maybe taking her under her wing, teaching her the ropes. I'm proud that she got that W.
By the way, that is a very telling thing about the kind of person that Kylie Rae is. Seeing the great potential in someone who just beat her, as Zara Zacker is taken down to get things started by Kendall Gray. But Zara Zacker really impressed me in that match against Kylie.
But if someone beat me in a match, I don't think I'm going to want to become friends with them. I mean, that's not how it works. I'm going to want to wrestle them again and then beat them the next time.
Well, you're a bitter
I'm
man.
not bitter. I'm not bitter. I would want to have a good career, and she should want to do the same.
Well, I think Zara Zacker just surprised a lot of people, because when you talk about this WWE ID program, maybe no one came in a quick pin and only a one count. Maybe no one came in with as many accolades, as big a name as Kylie Rae. So to see her lose that match to Zara Zacker, what a huge win for Zara.
Yeah, I mean, hands down, it was a surprise, as right now the fans here in the Evolve Arena are showing their respect. But you got to look at these two in the ring. Look at the complete two different journeys that they've been on. Kendall Gray, straight out of the Performance Center in beautiful rings with a beautiful gym, gets to train with the best. Zara Zacker, I mean, every weekend she's still hustling. She's in VFWs. She's changing in kitchens to put her wrestling gear on. She's driving home 6 hours after her matches. Completely two different worlds.
You were telling me a story about one of the indie shows that you did. What is the worst dressing room situation you ever saw in the indie?
Hands down in Alabama, 2011, the Treehouse. I had to hand my bag up to somebody, climb up in there, get dressed in, again, a treehouse, and then climb back down to wrestle my match. It was unbelievable.
Kendall putting in some good work right now on Zara Zacker. And the crowd behind Kendall Gray.
Yeah, you know, they should be. Kendall is nonstop. She won an award at the Performance Center for her gym dedication. She's in tip-top shape, and I promise you right now, she's already thinking of a way to get out of this armbar.
Now, she is stuck in an armbar right now from Zara Zacker, who is quick, athletic, and very unique with her style in the ring. And one of the cool things about WWE Evolve is just getting to see these incredible competitors who have worked in so many different ways. Some, of course, from the Performance Center, some from around the world. To see a drop kick there from Kendall Gray. Some, as you said, performing in bingo halls and high school gymnasiums.
Well, that's what's so amazing about this. It's just a mix of so many different talent from so many different places.
Big chop from Zara Zacker. Now, I bet none of these people once got dressed in a treehouse, though.
Yeah, they certainly have not. But you know what? It makes you stronger. It makes you better. Boom!
Springboard elbow. Zara Zacker showing that unique style I was just talking about. Drop kick right to the back, goes to the pin. 2. And a kick out on 2 for Kendall Gray.
And remember, Kendall Gray is coming off winning the first ever Evolve match. She got that tap out. She tapped Danny Palmer out. And remember, that made Callie Armstrong pretty pissed off.
Absolutely, and you see her partner, Carly Bright, looking on, showing showing exactly why she is Carly Bright. The pom-poms in hand, rooting on her tag teammate.
Yeah, they're kind of like a mismatch made in heaven, a perfectly imperfect duo, but I mean, friends are friends.
All right, let's show you this move again. Kendall Gray targeting the arm of Zara Zacher, and now the shoulder.
And then into the corner again, zeroing in on the arm. I like it.
Talked earlier about that big win she got over Kylie Ray. That feels like a long time ago right now. The petite powerhouse eating a suplex right there, and a pin for Kendall Gray, 2, and kick out at 2.5 for Zara Zacher.
Well, you know Kendall's looking to catch Zara with that flying arm bar submission. She's slowly working down the arm. I mean, that's what she does. She works you down. She knows what she's doing when she's between the ropes. This is her life.
Absolutely. Two great athletes in the ring. Again, different styles. Zara Zacher, new to the game, just 2 years of experience in the squared circle. But a big suplex there.
I mean, that was desperation. I'd say she was using only the power on one side of her body because her arm is hurting. When you lose a limb, when you lose a body part, you only got a few left. That's one less body part that you have.
Don't forget, though, Zara Zacher, she lands some big forearms. May not have a ton of experience, but she's gotten it in great places, including overseas in Japan.
And here she goes.
Picking up steam now against the former finalist for the Women's College Wrestler of the Year, Kendall Gray. Big European uppercut in the corner from Zara Zacher. Maybe she learned things like that overseas. Sends Kendall Gray in, big boot. Gotta go for the pin, and she will.
Oh, that might have been a big mistake, Peter.
What happened there?
I don't know. I think she had second thoughts about the pinfall there, and that was not a smart thing to do. That's her 2 years experience.
I don't understand why she didn't continue with the pinfall, because now Kendall Gray caught a breath. Goes over top. Zara, 2. Another pinfall, 1, 2. Multiple pinfalls for each competitor. Kendall Gray misses with the boot. Enziguri from Zara Zacher. Is she gonna go for the pinfall now, Robert?
She needs to try and get that pinfall. Kendall is seeing stars, man.
She's gonna go up top instead.
This is risky business right here.
She's going for it. Zara Zacher up top, looking to fly. Kendall Gray ducks under. Big boot! There's the experience of Kendall Gray.
And there it is. She's got it locked in.
That's going to be tough for Zara Zacher to get out of.
Her arm was already hurt.
And there it is.
Here's your winner, Kendall Gray.
Big win for Kendall Gray. Undefeated on WWE Evolve. Has a big tag win with Carly Bright. Now a big singles win over Zara Zacher. Let's take a look back at how she got it done. What was the difference in this match, Robert Stone, for Kendall Gray?
I think it was the fact that Zara wasn't going for those pinfalls. She made a few rookie mistakes, and you know it cost her the match.
As Kylie Ray comes out to comfort Zara Zacher, who's clearly frustrated.
But what is, do you see that, Peter? What's on the post right there? Is that from Wendy Chu?
Oh, is that the bear?
That's the bear. This is, I'm getting chills.
What is the deal with Wendy Chu's bear and Kylie Ray? WWE Evolve continues on, and Draco Knox is here. How you doing, man?
I'm great, but I got something to say, and y'all gonna let me say it.
We are.
Sure. Last week was the biggest opportunity of my life. A chance to make a name for myself. A chance to change my life. And that opportunity came when I teamed with Tate Wilder against Tyson and Tyreek. When I compete in that ring, I feel alive. I feel a hunger I ain't felt since my college gridiron days. When I connect fist to face, ooh, that's a good feeling. Yeah. Now I know the results didn't show what we wanted, but I can handle that. I can learn, I can grow from a loss, but what I can't handle is that big no-name goof sitting in the VIP section thinking he can show me up. Now, Tate's out with an injury, so I'm here by myself. But if anybody thinks they can show me up, I'ma handle that. So whoever you are, whatever your name is, let's handle it in the ring.
There you have it. Draco Knox sounding serious. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. We have a lot more action to come on WWE Evolve, including a one-time OG Evolve champion in action against Super Sean Legacy. That's coming up later right here on WWE Evolve. Welcome back to WWE Evolve on Tubi. Let's run down this exciting lineup coming to you next week right here on Tubi, all right? We have a double main event. Wendy Chu takes on Kylie Ray, who will have to face her fears and her fate next week when they collide. And two of the biggest tanks that we have, two absolute monsters, will collide in Evolve. Joe Coffey of Gallus facing Harlan Lewis, and also, before they inevitably compete in the squared circle, they will mince words as Danny Palmer and Callie Armstrong take part in a WWE Evolve face-off. But that's next week. Of course, we have more in-ring action right now.
Party's here. Look who it is. Swipe right, baby.
You are such a loser.
What are you talking about? Look,
you get so these guys don't want. They're half your age and they don't want to hang out with you, man.
Hey, Ice Williams hanging out with him. That's his debut here.
Well, no, look at Ice Williams. He's cool. They'd want to hang out with Ice Williams,
and they wouldn't want to hang out with me.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
And in the ring, we got Calix and Hayes Jamison. Definitely an odd pairing for this tag match.
Absolutely. Excited for tag team action here.
The following tag team match is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first the team of Aria Bennett and Layla Diggs.
Aria Bennett and Layla Diggs jumping into the ring. As we saw earlier, Robert, these are two superstars who found each other, found a little camaraderie. Look,
And their opponents already in the ring. Hayes Jamison and Kaylin.
You seem to be feeling the energy. I'm a little surprised.
I mean, what an entrance. I love these two together.
Well, listen, you never know when circumstance is going to bring you together in the pro wrestling business. That's what's happened for Aria and Layla. As Swipe Right, Ice Williams looking on.
Yeah, I mean, they both had losses, and now they're trying to help each other. It's a beautiful thing. It's a friendship. Maybe they could be a tag team. As for their opponents, Hayes, Jamison, and Calix, I mean, just looking at them, I don't necessarily think they would be two superstars that would team with each other. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
My bigger concern is that Hayes Jamison is not actually watching the match right now. She seems a little distracted by the VIP section.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't you be if you were that close to Swipe Right?
Tag. Oh! Some high-flying action early in a pinfall, too. And a kick out at 2.
Aria Bennett flipped in the ring. You know, watching her is like watching a real-life human from the Matrix in a wrestling ring. How cool is she? I mean, she does flips off of benches and crazy headstands. I mean, go to her IG page, you'll see all the crazy stuff that she does. Super athletic.
You were creeping on her IG page?
I was looking, not creeping. Okay. There is a difference.
You didn't send a DM, though, please.
No DMs? I'm married.
I'm not just making sure you're doing your job.
And if I did, it was just for, you know, normal talk.
1, 2. Wow, Hayes Jamison getting after it. Look, and I don't like the fact that you doubted Hayes Jamison and Calix right away. Why are you so down?
I mean, well, last week, you know, Hayes Jamison lost to Callie Armstrong, so she probably does right now want to get a win more than ever, but I don't know how good it's looking.
And you said it about Aria Bennett, a really interesting wrestler, done so many different things, including stunt work. She's also a mom. She calls herself a stunt mama. She has done it all from Allentown, PA, a background in gymnastics, and she has found her way to WWE Evolve.
And right now she's trying to find her way out of that chin lock, but it was not successful.
She needs to find her way to Layla Diggs, and that's not going to happen right now.
Hayes, don't worry about her partner.
Hayes gets the tag. Aria not able to get the tag. She is stuck there in the middle of the ring, and she eats a big shoulder to the face. Kayla's going for the pin. 1, 2, and a kick out on 2 for Aria Bennett.
You know, these two believed they could, so they did. They are here, and they are fighting right now.
Well, you know who's not fighting? Hayes Jamison over in VIP, having a sip of bubbly during a match. I mean, I don't think that's advisable, as Layla Diggs has got the tag.
Whoop. Diggity splits!
Wow, going for the pinfall. 1, 2, 3.
Here are your winners, Aria Bennett and Layla Diggs.
And there you have it. Aria and Layla finding a friendship, finding some camaraderie in the ring, and the Fresno, California native, the former track star at Fresno State, gets the pin and the win.
Calix and Hayes Jamison, not so much. If Hayes is lucky, maybe she'll get let into the VIP.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited for this. We talked about it earlier. Our main event will feature an OG former Evolve champion who makes his return to WWE tonight.
I'm not here for style points. The goal is to get your hand raised. That's it.
Timothy Thatcher is the Evolve champion. The record-setting reign of Timothy Thatcher.
596th day as Evolve champion.
The most dominant champion this company has ever seen.
A guy who exudes confidence.
I pick fights, but I also end them.
The professor of pain, Timothy Thatcher.
I'm not here to win any beauty contest. I'm here for victory.
We are back with the main event on WWE Evolve on Tubi. Robert Stone, you've been excited for this one.
I mean, this shows you anybody could show up in Evolve. 596 days in the OG Evolve as the champion. I am telling you, Timothy Thatcher is a bad dude.
This is a man who has put in work. This is a man who's still in phenomenal shape, but he is also trying to prove himself. Timothy Thatcher at this stage in his career trying to show that he belongs on the path in WWE as well.
He certainly is, and let's take a look at Super Sean Legacy.
My name's Sean Legacy. When I was in high school, I knew what I wanted. I wanted to be a professional wrestler.
Former bodybuilder, you can see his strength.
I got picked on a lot, and so many people told me that I couldn't do it. I'm going to show you exactly why I'm going to do this.
I'll tell you what, Super Sean Legacy showing how he got the super nickname.
I see myself as a role model. I had somebody come up to me and say, I can't do it, but now I'm doing it because of you, Sean Legacy, because of what you did. Nothing's gonna beat that. My name might be Sean Legacy. Man, I'm trying to create a legacy here.
Super Sean Legacy, as you can see, is quite the potential star in WWE Evolve.
Yeah, well, he got the first pinfall in the first ever Evolve main event, and now he's gonna get destroyed in his second ever Evolve main event.
Aren't you supposed to be unbiased? You're not supposed
allowed to make a prediction, Peter.
Listen, Super Sean Legacy has been hustling the last 7-8 years, putting in work on the indie circuit, learning this game. He has been in there with veterans before. Now, he may be younger than Timothy Thatcher, but he has been in with vets before, and he knows what's at stake.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is your main event! Introducing first, from Sacramento, California, weighing 221 pounds, Timothy Thatcher! And his opponents from Augusta, Georgia, weighing 210 pounds, Sean Legacy!
Thatcher, Legacy, our main event tonight. Here we go. Oh, and a drop kick out of the gate from Sean Legacy. And a kick. Oh, quite the aggressive start. Pinfall 2. And a 2 count right out of the gate. To your point, Robert Stone, Sean Legacy is clearly not taking Timothy Thatcher lightly.
I mean, look, impressive start, but I think he's a little in over his head here. Let me just tell you a little story. The first time I ever met Timothy Thatcher was in England, and I watched him make a grown man cry. And I think right now, Sean Legacy might be crying.
Were you the grown man that cried?
I was not the grown man, but I watched it go down. I'm telling you, he is just on another level.
One of the things I love, as a kick, and a stomp from Sean Legacy. This guy has an interesting arsenal. He's going for another pin, and he'll get a 1 and a 2.
Yeah, I mean, he's super fast. He calls himself a real-life superhero, right? But he's not. You don't say Spider-Man, Batman, Iron Man, and Super Sean Legacy. He's more like Blank Man.
First of all, underrated Damon Wayans movie. Second of all, Sean Legacy is not just as he tosses Timothy Thatcher like a rag doll outside of the ring. Sean Legacy is not just a high flyer. He's also very strong.
Yeah, well, right now, this is a dangerous place for both these guys to be.
He's a bodybuilder. Works at a fitness club, by the way, while he's grinding on the wrestling circuit. And now, of course, part of the WWE ID program as he flies through the ropes and takes out Timothy Thatcher, and the crowd loves it.
Sean Legacy in control of the match and the crowd here on WWE Evolve. We'll be right back with all the action after this short break.
An absolutely incredible scene. This is what World Wrestling Entertainment is all about.
WWE Clash in Paris, Sunday, August 31st. Scan the code now to register for an exclusive pre-sale opportunity.
Welcome back to our main event on WWE Evolve on Tubi. Peter Rosenberg, Robert Stone ringside. And Super Sean Legacy is putting in that work on the veteran Timothy Thatcher as we speak. Big shot from Thatcher to the gut of Sean Legacy.
You know, I don't know what it is. There's just something about Sean that rubs me the wrong way. I know he's talented in the ring, but there's something about his ego. All right, it's kind of like your ego, Peter. I mean, now that we've gotten to know each other, I've been listening to your podcast. You can't go 30 seconds without mentioning that you were a 24/7 champion.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up. I am a 24/7 champion. How many titles do you have in WWE? Oh, no, quick pinfall and a kick out.
No way. No.
Timothy Thatcher, though, and I was trying to get to this earlier, Timothy Thatcher is in an interesting spot, too. He may not be a youngster, but guess what? He has to prove himself again, right? He ended up in WWE Evolve for a reason, because he's trying to make his way back here, then to NXT, then to who knows, right? The dream has not died for Timothy Thatcher, and he's grinding. 2! And he needs a win over a young Sean Legacy right now.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. And right now he's doing a pretty good job. I mean, he is an old school wrestler. When you think of a Billy Robinson, a William Regal, a Dan Severn, that is the style of Timothy Thatcher. All right, he's all about the joint manipulation, the submissions, the mat work. This is his wheelhouse.
And the suplex right there, but even those punches, Robert, even those punches. Everything has so much on it, that ground and pound European style you were talking about.
Yeah, look at the way he just stays connected to his opponents. You know, they kick out of one of his pins and he just stays connected to a body part. He is a no-nonsense, bare-bones fighter. I mean, there's no flashy gear on him. There's no flashy talking. He just comes in the ring and does what he's got to do. He's not even wearing knee pads or elbow pads.
No, this is a man who, like the great Fit Finlay, loves to fight.
A legend in WXW Germany, a legend in Noah Wrestling in Japan, where he was a tag champ. But what I will say, is Sean Legacy also wrestled in WXW Germany. Sean Legacy also wrestled in Noah. So there's statistics where they've wrestled very evenly matched.
Whoa! And by the way, don't take Sean Legacy's power for granted.
Okay, those were some heavy hits.
He's getting some big shots into the veteran and a chop.
I always give credit where credit's due. He's rocking him right now.
We are getting hard-hitting action, and you're going to get matches like this every single week on WWE Evolve, seeing wrestlers from different walks of life too. And Sean Legacy kicks out at 2, but seeing wrestlers on different paths, different parts of their career, competing to make their dreams come true. Timothy Thatcher is still dreaming of the bright lights in WWE, but it needs to start with a win over Sean Legacy, and right now he has the advantage.
Well, yeah, and he's got him locked in right now, and if you can see as his mouth opens, you see there's a few teeth missing, and I think he kind of enjoys that. He's kind of like he goes to random wrestling schools and stretches different students. He's kind of like a new age Stu Hart, but scarier.
Stu Hart?
But scarier, if that's possible.
Hey, listen, I've seen the Bret Hart documentary. I've heard the screams from the dungeon and a pinfall and 1.5 there for Thatcher. Oh my God, the knee to the lower back.
I can hear that all the way from over here at the table, man.
I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. That feels horrible, Robert Stone.
Look at the way he is stretching his body right now. That is not how a human body is supposed to be stretched.
To think about that you were complaining about your sciatica while sipping a macchiato.
Yeah, with the sciatica again. Are you really bringing up the sciatica? We're in the main event of Evolve right now, Peter.
And look at this, what these guys are going through. And look at the kisser on Timothy Thatcher. Only a face a mother could love. My God. And again, he's maintaining control right now over Sean Legacy. And Sean will toss him over the top, and down to the floor goes Timothy Thatcher.
But he's quick to get up, and look, he knows where he is. Ring awareness. He's getting right back in that ring. It's natural for him.
Sean Legacy trying to dig deep. Oof. Brutal forearms being exchanged. Oh, my God. Oh! Timothy Thatcher falls off the ring apron. Sean Legacy is down on his knees.
Who is going to get to their feet first? Somebody's got to make a move here.
A absolutely rough and rugged main event on WWE Evolve as Timothy Thatcher makes his way back in, and it looks like he's going to go the hard way.
The first step to being a superhero is believing you can be one, and if Sean believes, maybe everybody will. I don't know if I do, but...
Don't jump on the bandwagon now that he's looking good.
I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. I'm saying what it is.
And Sean Legacy going to work, and he's got the support of the crowd as well. A few kicks to Timothy Thatcher. Belly-to-back suplex from Sean Legacy. He's going to look to fly, and you talked about this earlier.
It's always a risk. It's always dangerous at this point in the match to go to that top rope. Anything can happen.
Is he going up, or is he looking springboard? He's thinking about it right now as Timothy Thatcher makes his way. He's going to go springboard, drop kick. And he'll go for the pin. Is it over? 1, 2. Thatcher kicking out on 2 yet again. What an incredible main event we're being treated to on this Wednesday night on Tubi. Peter Rosenberg, Robert Stone, every week right here. You get action like this.
And let me tell you, Timothy Thatcher is not going to go down that easy. He's been in battles like this before. He is not going to go down easily.
What's he looking to do here? Oh!
European uppercut to the back of the neck.
Can you imagine? Sean Legacy gets over and out. Woo! Big kick from Super Sean Legacy. What's he looking to do here, Robert?
He's trying to get him in shambles.
Here we go.
He hit it! He hit it!
He's going for the pinfall. 1, 2, 3.
Here's your winner, Sean Legacy!
My, oh my, Robert Stone, what a big win. You're eating crow right now. Say it. Say you were wrong. You doubted Sean Legacy before this match, and now he's standing tall as the winner of this main event.
Anything can happen on Evolve.
Let's take a look back at the end here for Timothy Thatcher. Sean Legacy showing people why he gets that super moniker, Robert Stone. Very impressive stuff. sarcastic applause from Timothy Thatcher?
I don't know. He might have been showing him a little RESPECT right there.
Is that how you think that's what respect looks like? Well, I'll tell you who's not showing respect. The Swipe Right boys who are chirping, of course, from the VIP section at Sean Legacy.
Chirping or watching. Why do you got something against these guys? They're just, on their off days, they want to study.
Let's not forget it was Sean Legacy who defeated Swipe Right when he pinned Brad Baylor on the very first episode of Evolve. And here comes help. Cappuccino Jones and Jack Cartwheel evening the odds. Swipe Right looking to get Ice Williams to help. Ice is thinking about it.
Ice, what are you doing? Go in there and help him out.
Ice is considering it. Well, here we go. Here we go. Hold on now. We got even numbers.
Okay, 3-on-3.
Swipe Right, Ice Williams, Cappuccino, Sean Legacy, and Cartwheel. Oh.
For real? For real?
Ice Williams has made a decision, and it's not one the Swipe Right boys are going to like.
It's the biggest mistake of his life.
Unbelievable main event and an unbelievable turn of events after the main event with Ice Williams choosing to stand with Sean Legacy, Cappuccino Jones, and Jack Cartwheel. That will do it for this week's WWE Evolve on Tubi.